Hello, Payal. Welcome to your reading. This is the first time I've ever done this reading. I need to get this thing, put it here from this position. Okay, it's kind of awkward. I'm gonna put it here for when I'm on camera. But basically, so a few things have changed as of recently. I've realized that like I do my most effective work when I am like a lot of my readings, like I won't show my face because I'll be with these tools, like kind of like literally on this beanbag, like you know how it is. You get Taurus Cancer vibes. I literally this it's of course this happens every fucking time. My last reading was also a Taurus Cancer. Like I can't. And then the reading I was like because like you guys both you and this other girl both bought at the same time, and I was like debating with which one I wanted to do next. I was like yes, she also was like a Cancer, I think Taurus. So it's the energy for me right now. So yeah, very interesting. I'm trying to think if I've had a repeat birth chart client before, which will be a trip because God have I one I don't use the same system anymore. That's one. I use whole signs instead of coach slash Placidus. So there will be changes, and it'll be interesting for you to hear have both takes. And also, I'm a way better astrologer now than I was what 2 or 3 years ago or whatever. More than 3, 4. Was it 4 years ago? I was new. Um, and yeah, just overall, I like to kind of just like meditate, like just and like so I'll be like sharing the screen basically a lot of the time. I'll pop in here and there like when I feel like I need to show my face. Um, but yeah, like I've been getting like amazing readings through this method, so I kind of just roll with it. So did I share your last name? I did, so I must delete that. I'm actually just going to use your initials because you have a very uncommon last name and name in general, like at least for my followers. I'm sure in India it's not. I nearly just said like I'm sure this name people get so tripped out about the last name. It's like okay, cool. Like I don't know. I get it, like the confidentiality part. Like I get it. I understand it, but it's like first of all, like I don't know. Like if someone like knew about someone's birth chart, like what the fuck are they gonna do? It's like they can like unlock like their fucking like they're just gonna be able to just I don't know do something bad to them. Actually, I don't know. There is some things. Yeah, I understand. I understand the spiritual privacy, and I value it extremely highly. So let's go ahead and share screen. Did you do that? Let's do that indeed. I have no idea what accent that is. I think it went from like Indian, British, Indian to England, Indian, British to British to something weird. I don't know. Anyways, who knows? But anyways, yeah, never seen this chart before. Nuts. Um, let's get down to. Oh no, this is not in the right format. Oh, save the old way. So a lot changes. There's some things that I'm like, do I really need to fucking talk about? But at the same time, I'm like, you know, yeah. Um, obviously, you know about being a Cancer sign. I mean, we've done like we're first of all we're friends. First of all, so this is like pretty uncommon with Spider. I'm gonna catch it. 1 second. It sees me. It sees that I see it. I'm not gonna kill it. I'm gonna put it in a cup and put it outside. Um, where are my cups? Yeah, first of all, we're friends. Second of all, we are we've done astrological counseling together. So like I know you and you've had your chart read by me. So I know you. Um, plain and straight. So usually I make an effort not to know anything about my clients. You know how I am. Or maybe you don't. Maybe that's like a newer thing for me. But like I really, really don't want to know shit. I don't look at anything. So this is a little bit of a different one, but who knows? Maybe there's maybe one day I'll look back on it and be like, I was wrong. I should have, dug into, you know, I should have like like looked at photos of people and read their energy like that. But I kind of just like I don't know. It's not really like an ego thing. It's just kind of just something I do to just prove to people that like I can know everything about like not everything, but I can know I can literally like give you like probably the deepest like psychological karmic dive you've ever gotten without ever seeing a photo of you or ever like you know um really like having any experience with you whatsoever. Because by the time I do someone's reading, I've already, pretty much forgotten about their the conversation I had with them, and even in that conversation, I'm not like looking at photos of them. So yeah, um, one second, I'm just getting some things sorted here. Grabbing an old kombucha, and let's get going. Trying to think where I'm gonna position my computer though. Mm-hmm. I just need to check something really quickly. Sorry. Okay. So, yeah, perfect. Let's go ahead. Am I charged? 80. Okay, so I'm charged here. So let's put the charge here. Mika, and that wasn't your fault. I'm sorry for blaming you. Esme did something very, very bad, Mika. She knocked over a water bottle. That wasn't you because you're a good girl. Exactly. Say that louder, Mika. Say something. Okay. Anyways, long enough intro. And no, Mika, no outside. Stop, Mika, no outside. Stop. Go away. You're not going outside right now. So let's dive in. Why don't swear? I'm gonna go ahead and restart the clock because I've been talking for 7 minutes about nothing. Um, so yeah, basically, with your chart, we know that you are a Cancer Sun, Taurus Moon, and a Scorpio rising, right? So we have this and then Mars and Pisces who have lots of water. And you got that Venus and Mercury in the eighth house in Gemini. So you got some air. And I need to show the elements. Um, so yeah, there you have Earth, your moon, Taurus, you have water, you have air, but you lack fire. Although you do have Pluto rising and Scorpio rising, which isn't fire, but it's fiery. Um, and then aspect wise, moon opposite Pluto. Okay, sun, unaspected sun. That's powerful. You got some squares with an opposite Mercury, unaspected Venus. Damn, two unaspected planets. That's crazy. Um, and then you got Mars with some tough ones, some toughies. So I'm gonna try to blank out all my experience of you as much as possible, which I actually have an ability to do somehow. I don't know. I mean, obviously there's some stuff I can't, but I'm gonna try my best. But yeah, so basically, you're headed in this lifetime on a creative and spiritual conquest. Um, there's no like it's very obvious like why you would be drawn to me as an astrologer because your north node, like basically like where you're trying to arrive like on like a soul level in this lifetime is kind of what I am, right? It's Pisces, Leo. Fifth house is Leo. We and then Pisces is Pisces. So you're you're really trying, there's been past lives where you've been, very much a part of, like very much a giver, and very very like kind of involved in like what I would call like more like the material world, not like not to be confused with like materialistic, but like basically like this lifetime is like asking you to like really take like a big leap of faith when it comes to like spirituality, right? Sometimes people who have South Node and Virgo, and and what are the squares? Square to Venus. Interesting, unaspected. Um, wow, that's so interesting. So they can kind of have this energy where they were too in the here and now. You know how Virgos people can kind of be like I don't know how to describe it. Like they can just be like they can like be very OCD at times, very like anxious, and they can just like let little like bullshit, who gives a shit, a fuck type of things kind of take them away from like their potential for like unity with like the grand, like just like with the with the all with God, right? Because like when they're so in the here and now, like it's hard to kind of, and they have like anxieties of like what like obsession with like their job or their routine, workaholism, like that can totally be like a past like tendency. And in the 11th house, it makes me, it's also very very giving. So like, and I know you're an amazing person, one of the best people I know, and I'm not just saying that. So there's definitely this energy where you are you've really given a lot in past lives, right? And I think that there's saying, it's actually this in I just randomly thought about this Indian teacher of mine. She said a quote, something along the lines of like, the tree that gets picked the most has the less leaves left. And it was just a really great metaphor for kind of what I've been going through, and a lot, and just like, wow, I don't know where that fucking came from somewhere. 'Cause I haven't fucking thought of that one in probably like what, like a month or two. Um, and basically like, I just believe that you're such a giver. It comes so naturally to you that you haven't take karmically like taken enough time to, we even talked on our sessions, like to kind of be yourself, to kind of explore yourself in different areas. Um, One thing I probably didn't say in the first house is that like fifth house also has to do with children. Um, and when your Virgo 11th house, you could have been so committed, and in the South Node is like a tendency we have, right? So it can totally intends to totally carry over into like the current time. So if you're someone who's like a big time giver, right? And someone who's very group oriented, very about humanity, they may have like taken the ultimate sacrifice of not having kids, right? Of not having kids, because they're a part of something that they deemed, bigger, more important, or whatever. But also, it can just indicate, I have flashbacks of our old reading, of just not having like taken enough creative risks, right? Not having taken enough creative risks, and that can be difficult, right? So, where was I? So yeah, it's a mix of the two. It's like I always tell people who I see who have this type of configuration that like it's okay for you to be selfish in this lifetime. Like you've earned that right, you know? Like you've earned the right to do things on your own and to not, you know, to kind of like with what we were talking about with like your trip, like that's a perfect example. You know, you can't make everyone happy. So diving deep into spirituality, you know, your Mars also is accompanying it there, which is going to give you that like that push into it, but it's also creativity, right? It's also fun, allowing yourself to have fun, to just be your inner child, to go out and to be adventurous, right? Your ninth house has Chiron in it. So, and your sun. I keep telling you to fucking travel. You know, I know you're trying to. I know you're trying to set up, but like I still feel like some sort like I know you have your job, your career, you know. Um, but I just know that that's what your soul is like yearning for. And that like like I don't know, like sometimes I wonder like is there like a certain level there has to come a time where you just like 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 care less of other I'm not saying you don't have this. I'm just saying like where you almost like care less about how an action of yours will come off to someone. Like you taking a hiatus if possible, you know, from your work. Yeah, maybe some people are going to see it in a certain way, but fuck them. That's their fucking problem, you know? And maybe they're like not bad people, so not fuck them, but like, you know, that it's up like that's their issue. That has nothing to do with you. Because you've been about that like giving and being a team player in so many past lives that like, you know, it sidelined your ability to really dive into yourself. So that's huge. I want to kind of highlight that first. And then also say that, like, you know, having the Mars in Pisces is going to give you a deep spiritual yearning, a deep yearning for expressing yourself authentically. I think having like some type of platform where you can express the more spiritual side of yourself, I always told you that would be great. Maybe like you go to a place like Bali and meet like-minded people and start a podcast or start some kind of like collective. I don't know, like something like collaborative, right? Because that comes very easy for you. South and 11th house, work in teams in an organized manner. But you're really trying to get more spiritual in this lifetime. So, with that said, we go back to the moon and you know, sun. And this is exactly, it's so funny how this always happens. And like I say this in many of my readings, like if there's anyone who's watching all my readings, which if you're someone who literally watches all my readings, like please comment and like I will send you a free book. Actually, no, I won't because you'll just lie. But I will send you a ton of love and appreciation because that is just amazing because I put out a lot of fucking readings. Um, but anyways, as I was, the Taurus moon part, right, which is like the unconscious, it's like what you need to feel happy needs that security, whether it's financial, physical, whatever it is, right? So that's the conflict. It's like that soul that wants to kind of grow and take risks, but then the emotional part that wants to kind of, you know, have things stay a little bit the same, right? So how do you break through that? Um, how do you move towards the Pisces while having you know, a Taurus moon? Because Taurus moon, you know, they like, you know, as you know, they like things to stay the same. They like things to stay the same. They tend to be risk savvy. They, especially as a Cancer, I think that's, one reason why, you kind of, I mean, you're very attached to family. And yeah, of course, it's also cultural, how, like I know how, I'm not gonna say I fully understand, but like I do, I get how like Indian families are, and kind of just the overall, it's just like the polar opposite of like the West. It just matters way, way more. But still, even like regardless, like being like a Cancer Taurus, like people who have that, like they tend not to really like move away from home. They prefer to like stay close, and family just means everything to them, which is obviously not a bad thing. But if it gets to a point to where it's like encroaching on your soul growth, that's where you have to question yourself. So I'm not saying move to fucking Bali or whatever, but what I'm saying is that your sun is in the ninth house. You're here to learn, but you're also here to travel. But your Chiron is there too. So this is where things get interesting. Um, so the Taurus part, that's uh, likes things stable. Obviously in relationships, we'll dive into your husband's chart when I get his information. Um, but like overall, just liking things stable, liking things calm, liking things beautiful. You know, and with your job, that I know what you do, so I can't like do career stuff like guess like about career like I do, or not guess, but like kind of like give like things that someone might be good at. With you, it makes perfect sense. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and design, all that. It just makes sense. And Cancer rules homes, and that you work, and you literally like your career is like to a T with your sun and moon. It's like crazy. Um, but yeah, so like the Chiron in Cancer, right, with the Sun in Cancer in the ninth, like that's the house of Sagittarius. That's a house of long travels, and wherever your Sun is placed, that's an area of life where you're really, really meant to lean into. So, one second, you sip this. So there's two ways of the ninth house Sun, right? It's like where you're meant to shine. And one way, it's all about travel. And the travel can be physical, or it can just be metaphorical, right? So it can be about learning, which you've done, you continue to do, learning different philosophies. Like it's all about like finding ultimate truth, whether it's through astrology, whether it's through um, your day-to-day life and your reflections and conversations you have with different people, um, especially different people from different cultures. It can be any different form. But there's also the part of it that is about traveling. There is a huge need for a ninth house sun person to experience and to kind of like let go, in the sense of like the structured life, especially after what happened, to your someone very close to you. Um, rest her soul. Um, I just think that, like, to me intuitively, that was like the most surefire sign ever that it's time for you to really just do whatever this is, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I say whatever this is, I don't even fully know, like it's coming, and I think that that's, like, I feel like you're a very special person, but I feel like you constrain yourself to kind of a small geographic location. And as a Cancer, there's the whole thing of like climbing into the shell, and Cancers are home bodies. So like it's very, very, very interesting for a Cancer to be a ninth house sun, because like that would require them to sort of, and I actually have that in my classes because I'm a Sag moon in the house of Cancer. So we kind of have that inversed, right? Um, but there kind of be like this energy, this need to like when you're traveling to still have that like extreme comfort and feeling of home, you know? And you've even like showed me, come to think of it, like the, or not show me, but told me about like the places that you'd be like thinking about like staying at and how it would be more like there's still the need for that like stability and that really feeling like where you're at is home. And I would literally suggest like long term, not a long term, but like literally just like a one-way ticket type deal, you know? Just going and just peace, you know? Um, and I'm not gonna say anything personal. I you know, but you know, I just really believe that you're you know where you're at in your relationship, where you're at in life. I just feel like if it's meant to happen, the synchronicities will align where you'll be able to still have everything work out completely in your favor, even like if there's like concerns. And I know you might not be concerned about this at all, right? And we've talked about this, but like I'm just saying what I'm saying. Um, like even if there is like a thought like you know of like doubt or like okay but if I did that this could happen, you know, um like if it's really meant to be it will happen, you know what I mean? Like the things will align. Like if it's for example with work, like what if you leaving like was like a super positive thing for your career? And once again, when I say career, I don't just mean career as in what you're doing right now. I mean your dharma, right? But in this case, actually, I mean more career. What if it was a super positive thing in retrospect? Like, what if you leaving and kind of being away from whatever for a while? I'm not encouraging you anything. You know better than me about your life and everything. But I'm just throwing ideas out there. Like, what if that like was this big highlighter of like to the people that you're associated with in your work life of like wow, she's not here. Like, holy shit, look how valuable she is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what, and then what if that led to like a newly found gratitude for what you bring to the table? But enough about that. But I'm just saying that's in your chart. But then the Chiron there in the ninth house, you know, that can kind of, when it comes to that exact thing, it can kind of create pain and maybe even fear around that expansion. And it can also create like an energy where people maybe you grew up with people who like where you really had like and maybe still have like a very different worldview and because of that like experience some level of like pain slash woundedness around that. um and you know ninth house of travel is Chiron there, like who knows, maybe it could be speaking to like yeah, something that's keeping you away from doing it. But I don't want to go into that because I do intuitively feel like you're actively like trying to make it happen. But then I also feel like there's other energies that like something else could come up, something else could come up. There's always something that could come up until you just say like enough, you know, and you just trust that like everything will work out how it's supposed to work out. So yeah. Um. Now I don't really have to go so far into like the moon and like the fact that sun in Cancer, moon in Taurus is just like amazing like combination. It's they're sextiling each other, exact sextile. So that's like one of the best aspects in astrology. If you were a boat or a plane or whatever, and you were represented by two different captains, the sun and the moon, they would both be going in the same direction. There wouldn't be no crazy turbulence. But still, you know, having the North Node in the fifth house means that you know, like I said, these are very like more domestic, like kind of energies. Taurus in Cancer, there's still the part that wants to kind of like, the part of you that the soul is yearning for exploration, yearning for letting go of all the structure. So yeah. Um, love stuff, just like I don't even have to go into that. I mean, like, you're clearly Jupiter seventh house, moon right on the ascendant. I mean, with that, you have to watch out. Like, just as what I would tell anyone, you have to watch out for codependency and taking, especially with an unaspected Venus, like where you're taking too much of your life success based on how well your relationship's going. Maybe that's something you went through earlier. I don't sense that in you. The way I sense that more is with your creativity and your art, and how there's just like nothing that really holds you back from that. And also the fact that the moon's in the eighth house, it can create someone who has like almost like hidden artistic talents. Like, maybe they are a really, really good singer, you know, um, but it's hidden. And then with Mercury there, it could be the same thing with intelligence. Not that, you know, obviously, like, you come off very, you are intelligent, you come off very intelligent, but um it just yeah, it just hides different things. Um, but yeah, with the love stuff, I mean, Jupiter, obviously, like, you learn a lot through your relationships, your relationship, um, and you have lots of luck with your partner, and that's seems to be pretty obvious by now. Um, so yeah, but with the moon there, you have to kind of watch out for kind of taking too much of your emotional well-being from how the relationship is going, and kind of yeah, just codependency, like not like full on codependency, but just in general, that idea of like, I cannot survive without the other person. um but where's Uranus? Okay, I see. So so um I feel like people get intimidated by you, and it's something that you might not be aware of. I know we've talked about it, but I feel like, having Pluto so close to the ascendant, being a Scorpio rising, I feel like, and being so chill, and have I feel like people look at you and they feel like jealous, um, because you have, like, you're I feel like even if someone like wronged you, like, you would still find it within you to, like, unless it was really fucked up, to like have compassion, empathy, like, and you're just such a nice person, and then you've like succeeded, like, you created a successful life in every way. I don't think, you didn't really come from like a place where that was like given to you. You worked your ass off for it, and every kind of area of your life, of course, you've gone through tough times, um, as of late, especially, or like, last few years. Um, but like, as a whole, your life, you've been a success story, right? And I think that, like, it just speaks to like the talent, but like also to, like, just like having Pluto in the first house, it can make people jealous of you because you can have this such an immense like spiritual power. You can just be like a spiritual powerhouse, like, just like a leader, someone who just like, when they enter a room, I think I said this in the first time I gave you a reading, like, people know, like, even if you don't say a word, people notice you. And you have this very bright light presence that I think more dark people, like envious types of people, which you may, through your own compassion, which, and just like friendliness, you may, like, not attract, but like, let in at least, or maybe work with, or something like that. So yeah, just like boundaries in that respect is really important for you, and learning that, like, remember I told you in the first reading how like you have this ability to like destroy people through your words. because you are so nice, but then you do have this Scorpio side. Like I think like a big lesson in your life is really like learning how to use that power. Like, and I think you have done that, but like not, but also not like, and this might be a download, like not like downplaying your own power, because like Pluto on the rising are leaders. They're meant to lead. They're not meant to be second place. You know, they're meant, especially with your midheavens, like right on, like, you know, close to Regulus. Like you're meant to be a star. You're meant to be an entrepreneur. You're meant to be the head of the ship. But being such an empath, you know, you might allow, and you know, Cancer Taurus being very feminine and lacking fire, you might allow kind of more dominant energy people, if you want to call it that, to run the ship when really it should be you. And I think that's something that like needs to kind of be not looked at, but like, I don't know. And now I'm actually starting to be able to speak from a place of kind of as much as I can, like where I'm like not like where I'm being like objective, I guess you could say, you know? As opposed to like knowing you, or like, yeah. Um so you always got to remember North Node and Pisces, you know? Um you should come to every Cosmos meeting. I'm not just saying that, like I'm saying that like in the way because I know how your life is. I know that it's busy, but like I think you should, like I have all of them right now pinned on the Cosmos IG. As many as you can, I mean. I know life throws stuff at you, but like the reason I say that is because your part of fortune, you know, is in the 11th house, which is what Cosmos is a group. And like your north node in Pisces is literally like it's begging you to 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 do things that are spiritual, basically. And what Cosmos mean, I'm not saying participate in the chat. I'm saying like at least like, you know, like I have all the meetings in for next year. Just put them on your calendar if you haven't already. Maybe you have, you know. And try to make an effort to come, because what happens with Cosmos, right? When, and this is what I've noticed, because I've obviously been to every single Cosmos, duh. Um, like when you don't have that many spiritual people in your life, like in your physical life, and I know you might have, but like not on the level of Cosmos. I mean, no one fucking does. I mean, not no one, but like, you know, find me someone who's not like in a cult or like, you know, their own version of Cosmos. And what that does is it ensures that once every 3 weeks, regardless of where you're at in life, you know, regardless of where you are, you know, and you don't even have to have the microphone on. You literally just chill. You know, you're going to be able to like get in touch with that Pisces North Node, right? You're going to be able to speak with like-minded people interested in spiritual topics, and that is what, you know, is really being asked of you. Right now, by the way, I'm walking around my apartment. It's another thing I like to do when I do these readings without my face. I just like to kind of walk around. So that's massive. And Cosmos is one example, but like that, like I just think that like having that and no and kind of like making like somewhat of a commitment. Of course, like I know it's Saturday, I know it's the middle of the day. Maybe you can't stay the whole meeting, but at least trying your best to connect, like that is helping you move, because what that does is that every 3 weeks you get a reminder. It might be one thing one person says, right? And right now Cosmos is better than it's ever been. I've kicked out every person that was not like, because it's like I've literally, Mika, stop asking. Bad girl. She said. Um I've kicked out like every single person, and it sounds like I've like kicked out a lot, but like I got rid of one girl who was kind of bringing the chat down. I've literally like released everything from that group that was not high vibe. Everyone in there right now, like there's not a single soul in there that is like bringing the energy down in any way. And the meetings, like even if we have no topic, are just like have been magical. So that's important to kind of just to understand and to I guess yeah. I just think like things like that are very important, and also like with the idea of like getting out of the country, and I think that is needed. It's not like I think it's a need. I think there's a level of I think there's like a deeper. I know I keep talking about, it, but I think that there's a reason I keep talking about it because it's deeper than that. Because it's just a microcosm, right? Like I'm talking about this, but think about the big picture. Mika, you ate just a second ago, Mika. Mika, Mika. Say that again to me. 1 second. Mika? One second. Can you hear? I know you couldn't hear me. Yeah. What, Mika? Mika. Mika needs some food. I guess I need some too. Esme, shut up. You foodaholic. She's such a. It's so bad. Felix? Oh yeah. Oh, you're me. It's you meowing. Felix, meow again. Felix, you never meow. Felix, meow. Oh my God, Felix. Felix. One more time, and I'll give you food. You want the food? Felix. Felix. Oh my God, Mika, you fucking made all that fuss for nothing? Stop. Okay, shut up, Mika. Okay, eat your food, you weird cats. Anyways, okay. So yeah, it's a microcosm because like it represents like this need to just let go and to just like understand like the whole thing with North Node and Pisces, pal, is that like it's about like not just knowing God's existence, not just feel like it's about feeling it and embodying it and understanding vertical time versus horizontal time. And it's not about being reckless. It's not like you're a Virgo South Node, so you have that fucking like life shit on lock. You know how to fucking like you could literally lose everything and reconstruct. Like you have that strength with that Pluto on your ascendant. Like you have that power, and you have that ability. You're like one of these people who can just rebuild, and like you're not things don't like you have like it. So like it's like I just feel like there's something missing, and it literally is not that. It's not so complicated. It's literally like just go and don't like just go without a plan. Pisces is all about just going, mutable, just go with the flow, see what happens, whatever happens, happens. The dreamer, and it's a personal quest. I don't think you're meant to go with anyone. Maybe you are, but like maybe you're not. But like I think it's you. And when we look at your Mercury in eighth house, you might have some kind of innate talent with writing. It is opposite. It's opposite Uranus. It's opposite Saturn square Mars. So there could be some trauma there around like, you expressing your truth and like really getting it out there, like in kind of like stuff like that. But like, I don't know, like writing, like why don't you like write a book, like write a fucking book, and don't you don't even have to show anyone the book, just like a memoir, so then you can look back on kind of how I wrote my book. I didn't really like I didn't think I was gonna like sell out fucking New York top times whatever, like New York Times top seller, but I knew that it's a book that if I ever do have kids or like anyone important, any new friends enter my life, anyone that really wants to know me can read that book, and then it's just like boom, they know me. and also for me, it was like about like I can look back on myself and like, whenever I read my book again, right? Let's say I read it when I'm like 40, or if I make it to 40. I don't know. I always say that to be kind of emo, but you never know. Um, it's it's like 8 years, so I hope so. Less than 8. But yeah. Basically like doing something creative like that would be like the ultimate thing for you, where you had like a purpose of that trip. And then also like networking, I believe that you meet some, and maybe it's not just one location. Maybe it's just like, having a savings and just being like, all right, I'm just gonna go and see what happens, and I'm gonna create a home away from home. And I'm gonna be back when I'm back, and knowing that you deserved it, you worked for it, you deserved it. Life is not just about grinding, 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 and not having fruits of your labor. It's about the balance between the two. And the universe is telling you, please, like, we got you. Just go do go start to live more like this. And you might be surprised of what comes up. Um, and when I say that, I mean like I just like who you meet and what kind of work you might start doing. I told you, midheaven in Regulus, or in Leo close to Regulus, it has a special purpose. Um, and it's not always what it seems. It's very honorable, high honor. So regardless, you're gonna have that. Just remember that. Aside from that, that's about it. I'm just joking. Um, Not even close. So, well, actually, I don't even know about not even close. But anyways, okay, yeah. So those are some downloads. I don't feel like need to talk about love stuff. I think so. Okay, having unaspected sun, that's just like this other energy that people can be so jealous of because you have such a free self-expression. I feel like North America is fucked, and I feel like you just I know you've been other places. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember if you've been you've been to India. Have you? I don't fucking even know. I don't know if you've really. I think you've been in Mexico. I forget where you've been, but I think you need to spend enough time somewhere to see how fucked North America is, like how judgmental people are, how people like try to kind of zap your energy and break your shine. And it's not like everyone's like that, but like when you go to other cultures, people will see you and they'll be like, "Oh my God, like this person's so amazing." And you won't have to have like this guard up that you might have up in North America, right? Um, so that's like huge. Like I'm forcing you to do that, even though you're already doing it. Spirit is forcing you to do that, and it's gonna happen. Um, Now the Mercury stuff is interesting because it's like Mercury and Gemini is in dignity, so it's very, very good for intelligence. It's in the eighth house. So you really want to like dive deep. You're interested in like the really like you like talking a lot. That's why I always thought you'd be like really good for like a podcast or like anything that involves communication. And it might be like a hidden talent that you have to kind of like unravel. And it could be writing also, right? But like being able to like in very human kind of everyday words like, and this is like even my first voice messages from you. I remember like hearing them be like, this person like is so good at articulating spirituality in a way that's not fucking cringe. You know, it's really really cool to hear you talk about spirituality. Like honestly, and I hear a lot of people talk about spirituality, and like it was like really really dope. And you have a really nice voice too. I think like something with your voice, um, and would be amazing, right? Um, and I think that you would maybe meet some people on your travels that would be part of some. And it might not be that. It might be you probably won't. It's probably something completely random. Um, but like something, yeah, something related to all this. Remember, this is all potentials. Um, but the thing with the Mercury though is that it's in dignity, so it's in a very very good position. You process information super fast. You're very very interested in tons of different knowledge. Like you know how it is with Gemini. And it's yeah. Um, it's yeah, in Gemini. So yeah, very, very good. But then, the fact that it's square Mars, obviously that can create conflict between your brain, your level of drop something. Your communication and your kind of assertiveness. So it can create like lots of like irritability, fault finding, um, and yeah, it can be difficult in several ways, right? Because like, on one hand you want to really dive deep in the unconscious. So merging the two together, I think revolves around, finding that exact creative outlet, right? Um, but one is very but what I like about it is that one, the one's usually this would be like a pretty difficult one because it's exact square, but the fact that one is that the Pisces Mars is in the fifth house, and that the Mercury is in the eighth, which is like the Scorpio house. It's like Pisces and Scorpio, so it kind of actually makes it like less difficult. Um, but like yeah, it can make someone just like especially with that Mars energy, kind of have like feel like almost like fear their own anger in a sense, and fear like kind of yeah, stuff like that. And like kind of like it can lead to just like holding a lot of stuff in. Some people, like when they have in different signs, they let too much out. So yeah. And then just the fact that it is opposite, Saturn Uranus, in the second house, like that can be all about, like with the Saturn one, it can be all about just feeling like your voice wasn't worthy, like you received some kind of feedback early on, that your voice wasn't worthy, which had a huge emotional impact on you and kind of made you like kind of doubt your process of thinking, because you probably thought very ahead, and you're probably extremely intelligent. You are extremely intelligent, but the things that interest you are probably like out of the norm. And with Uranus, it just speaks to like this very rebellious, like genius mind, potentially like genius mind, right? Um, Anything with Mercury and Uranus, and it's 3-degree orb is very adventurous, very rebellious when it comes to like um, you know, like it gives like a lightning fast, brilliant mind, pretty much, right? Like it could be a genius. I've posted about this. Um, but also someone who needs like a lot of stimulation. There can be anxiety. So that's the thing, is like you can be like a workaholic that needs like tons of stuff, and there can be, um, yeah, it can be challenging, like there's definitely like a need to like to have like an outlet. So I say cosmos is so important, to like have all the questions you have answered and to fully let out everything that's inside out. And it gives just like a very original and futuristic, like ahead of your time way of thinking. And I think, there's parts of ourselves that we don't notice that we have like as superpowers. I think one of them for you is your brain. Um, I don't think you necessarily recognize like, how large of an asset that is, right? Um, and I think that maybe you just haven't been around physically enough people who are on your level. And I'm not talking about IQ. I'm talking about like IQ combined with intellectual curiosity, spiritual like intelligence, emotional intelligence, everything, right? So yeah, very original style of thinking, but you have to like yeah, and I think you are a very good listener, and your other parts of your chart really help that out. Um, but it can kind of sometimes bring people who are more conservative to kind of have breakdowns and arguments with you. So yeah. Also, with business, it's really important for you to check the fine printing on documents, like really like any types of contracts, like make sure that have those like looked at like extra close. And yeah. So overall, you see kind of how this makes sense. Like maybe you just like have it like you just have and that's once again why cosmos is so important. You need people who can stimulate that. And once every 3 weeks, like, you show up, you soak in that spiritual energy, and boom, you know, like that's your quota. And then you're good. It's like think of it like a tank. And when you're like a spiritual tank, and when you're riding on empty, and yeah, like Instagram posts, but like I'm talking about human connection. Yeah, it's over the internet, but it's still connection and it's still authentic. Um, so yeah, with the love stuff, like I said, I don't really feel the need to talk that much about it. Of course, you need someone who stimulates you intellectually. Who can be like your best friend. An aspect of Venus, a lot of times they can make love be their like it can be too obsessed with love. So there's definitely like potential for codependency in your chart. So I don't know if that's something. I don't think you have that. I think you have like you pretty much locked down that area of life pretty fucking perfectly. But like I don't know, like it could be something to look into you know, without your partner, like, what are you? Like, asking yourself that question. You know, are you still you? And I know you guys give each other lots of space. And you guys have like a very good relationship, but yeah, it's just something like to think about because like when you have the moon there and the aspect of Venus, but really, like I told you before, I think it has more to do with the sun and the Venus aspected to just this incredible creative potential, like where you just are uninhibited by anything when you're in that process, and that people probably get jealous as fuck. So not only so now we talk about the Scorpio part of your chart. Moon is opposite Pluto, and you have your Scorpio fucking rising. So here we talk about a lot of times Moon Scorpio is there can be like an over interfering mother, on a low energy. What I see is more in you is like this is what's really pulling you towards that death, rebirth, transformation. That archetype that I can talk about nonstop is all over your chart. That's what's really pulling you towards that. But Moon opposite Pluto is a tough fucking aspect to have, one of the hardest in all of astrology. And what happens is that it just gives you very intense, complex feelings, like big mood swings. Um, and it can like almost resemble like bipolar symptoms, but the fact that you have such grounding like sun and moon really like helps you a lot in general. Yeah, just very alternating like extremes of emotions. And the big thing is to not feel ashamed of it, and like not to let other people tell you how to feel, um, and just know like who to share your vulnerability with, right? Because some people will try to steal that energy, especially when you're such a powerful person. And just honor these emotions as clues, It can be like very high highs and very low lows, very low lows. Oh, and like a lot of times it's like a overly like a possessive or interfering mother, and it can have someone like feeling like which you don't have, like like difficulty with expressing their truth and their feelings and vulnerability. But yeah, the key comes from sharing your deepest feelings and not hiding them, right? Um, and if you don't feel confident enough to talk to family or friends about your dark feelings, then it's like, someone like me, a therapist, psychologist, or astrologer, whatever. Um, but yeah, and I think like the thing like the part about family is really important here. I mean, because yeah, I just think there's a lot like that needs to be said. And I think that it's like once you actually like give your power a try and you see the effectiveness of it when you really keep shit real and you're willing to go all balls to the wall, You see, like, damn, I am that person. I have that. Um, so okay, Scorpio rising is opposite your moon, exact, and that's a similar theme. Um, Now this one's very interesting because like you come off your personality when people meet you will be very, very like scorpionic and kind of mysteriously, but then like deep inside, you're a lot, you're very, very stable and kind of Taurus moon, Cancer sun. Um, but like what can happen is that you can really intimidate people who haven't really met you. They can sense that Plutonian power and that ability to just like work super hard and like nothing can deter you when you have your mind set to something, like nothing can deter you. And it's just like I'm asking, I think like the chart's asking to be a little bit, like I said, a little bit more selfish in this lifetime. Um, and once you like do it like once, then it just makes more it comes kind of naturally, like not like be selfish, like once you kind of like do something that's like for you, where you're like just like I'm doing this for me, fuck it, whatever happens happens. Then like you realize like man, that wasn't even selfish. That was just me like doing what like I need to do karmically. Um, and then fifth house Mars, like it's really another sign of asking you to find a creative outlet. Really, really asking you, but like you have the Mercury, all those things going on with your Mercury. So it's like, and even with Mars, Mars is you have a T square between Mars, Mercury, and Uranus slash Saturn, and it comes out in Virgo. Ooh. So literally what that's saying is that like um like not only is the whole thing with the voice and finding your voice and all that, but also with your action towards that creative outlet, you feel blocked, right? You like there's a feeling of feeling blocked. Mars square Uranus is very volcanic, so I highly recommend people who have that to do some kind of physical activity where they sweat their fucking ass off. If it's Mars square Pluto or Mars opposite Pluto, that's like where I'm like, you have to, but like even like Mars and Uranus is just like a volcanic eruption, and it can create like, like there can just be like lots of pent up shit. And I know I felt that from you lately. And finding like a physical outlet that you can let that all out. That's maybe, more masculine. Maybe it's like something that, is more like of a masculine type thing. Not like, yeah, maybe like I was gonna say like UFC. I was just kind of joking, but like I don't know, like something like, yeah, maybe it is kind of more martial artsy or something like that. Something that gives you that power, and gives you that release. And the release is Virgo in the 11th house, so it's like once again, it goes back to finding like-minded people, that you can connect with and communicate with, that are in that league, in your league. I think that you don't really know that many people around you who are really truly in your league. If I was to judge, yeah. Um, hmm. Let me think. Second, actually. Hmm. Yeah, after. Um. Yeah, so definitely like a huge like esoteric occult energy, that is very clear. Um, So yeah, the Mars stuff, like it's just like feeling like, and it got a lot easier after Saturn return, but the Mars Uranus, it's just, it's more genius energy, more just like you need to be around people that are fucking different. I'm telling you, like you will feel so liberated when you actually fully feel like your soul family, which or like, and that sounds fucking cheesy to say, but like whatever, I'm saying it, fuck it. um, when you find those types of people that you don't have to say shit and they just kind of get you, and they're out there. And I know you know. So yeah, I think and we have and I just remembered like we said that the follow up the last session you had would be the follow up for these two readings. Okay, yeah, just want to say that so I remember if I can remember. Um, so yeah, Jupiter seventh house. It's also really good for business partnerships. If you were like doing what the work I do, like any kind of like partnerships with clients is really, really good. Or you get lots of luck and expansion through them. You might even like have clients that um teach you things and you learn a lot through them and you learn a lot through your relationship. So it's very, very good. What else? What else? What else? Mhm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, pauses. Yeah, so okay, Scorpio, yeah. So Scorpio part opposite your moon. I mean, yeah, just like you'll appear very different than the way you truly are inside, which can be kind of confusing to people. It's pretty much it. I mean, so like feeling misunderstood can definitely show up and you know, it's just interesting. Um But then you have such a sweet demeanor. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just our relationship because we have so many good synastry like points in our chart and we're friends. But like at the same time, it's like, I don't know how other people see you. I don't know how you interact, you know, in everyday life. I don't know like how people kind of experience you through their own lens, especially like less evolved people. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Hmm. Mm, mm, mm. So yeah, definitely like a need to find like a creative slash physical outlet. So then by itself, having like the third house Neptune. Actually, we'll start with Saturn. Should I go in order? Okay, let's say having a I already talked about the Pluto in the first house, how there can be kind of trauma around the body and like there's a deep need once again for you to like assert yourself as a pioneer in this lifetime, assert yourself as an independent person who moves how the fuck they want to move. That's what it's saying. It's a very powerful placement, and that like it's also saying that you'll constantly be going through these death rebirth transformations that are like visible, like not like on like the internal level but also on the external level. um and also someone who can just seep through the bullshit. They don't want it. They can just see through all the bullshit, and it's like not even. And people sense that. They sense that Scorpio, that Plutonic energy. So it intimidates people. Because they're like, I cannot bullshit this person. Like maybe yeah. Like I'll lie to her and she'll smile, but she knows I'm fucking lying. You know what I mean? Like you have that. That eighth house Venus ability to kind of see through the BS and understand the truth. And you're all about the truth. So, and that's the ninth house sun. And a lot of times the truth is not found by just staying, you know, in the same place that you grew up in. It's about like it's also about understanding that there's multiple truths and that they all connect to one. Black Moon Lilith in the 11th house, ironically, um, in Virgo is about workaholism. Um, Also, it's it tends to be it's kind of like the darker part of your personality. It doesn't always show up. It's only when you're in your lowest vibe. It could also be about like being overly critical of yourself, which can project to being overly critical of other people. Um, so yeah, curious about that one. Also, 11th, Black Moon Lilith represents like where people can be jealous of us. So I think like, where would it be in Plastis? It would be still 11th, probably right. 11th or 10th. I don't know. But yeah, probably 11th. Or like boarding the 11th. So yeah, like people can be jealous of your grind and of your success. So it's important to kind of like, and I know you don't flaunt, those areas of life, but it's just something that can happen. Um, I think you were at that meeting where we talked about that. And yeah, just with the Virgo Black Moon Lilith, it just makes complete sense about how you can be very hard on yourself, and how there's a deep need for like self-compassion, and knowing that like, you can like your best one day might be 30, and then the next day might be 50, the next day must be 60, 70, 80. The whole point is that you have to like treat yourself with the same love and respect each day, regardless of your performance, because you might set unrealistic expectations that are impossible to meet, and then it's just like kind of a self-sabotage. Okay, so Saturn in the second house can speak to feelings of like it's not a bad Saturn placement. It makes one like really want to work hard for money. Almost like there can be like past life like memories of being poor. There can be like energy where they feel like they have to kind of overcompensate, and like there can be like, even if they like are fucking like multi-millionaire, they can like sometimes have like be like have like feel like there's like there can be fears associated with money, and the main goal is to like really like, and it gets a lot easier after Saturn return, um, and to just understand, to kind of like align yourself with spiritual values over material ones, which you've done. And then it just makes everything way easier. And then like the Uranus there, that can create like someone who is like kind of like a minimalist, who might have like lots of ups and downs financially. Um, let's go back to myself. Weird ass angle. Um, yeah, so there can definitely be like kind of like ups and downs. Um, yeah, a lot of people Saturn second house are born to kind of poor families, and they have to really build their way up. And then like after Saturn return, 29 and a half, which you're past, things get a lot easier, and they can be super successful people pretty much. And then with the Uranus, it's like yeah, sun changes in income, um, and learning lessons around like not tying yourself to that too much. It's also good for being very entrepreneurial and having like very like unconventional like money making schemes. Yeah. And Neptune third, it just speaks to like that talent for like writing, that talent for communicating, whatever it may be, Um, like just having the ability to communicate through like spiritual pursuits, like through like whether it's your writing or your way of speaking, there's like a real sweetness, a real connection to spirit through that. And also it can bring like lots of mental, or not lots, of just like a general level of mental confusion, or a scattered mind. So it's important to kind of like do things that, keep that in check, but also just having that creative outlet can be so powerful for that third house. And also with siblings, it can kind of create like a confusing energy, like around siblings, like where there's just something is like Like some people they have like a half sibling they didn't know about for who forever. It's not always the case, but they're or like a very spiritual relationship with siblings or sibling, or like a very foggy, confusing, like what the fuck, like unknown, I just don't get it type relationship with a sibling. Um, okay. Yeah, so many like indicators of like high intuition. You have to watch out for victim-like behavior, like just in general cancers and just like the Mars and Pisces sometimes can like self-victimize and feel like self-pity, that whole thing. That's like kind of the low vibe of that energy. And just escapism, which I don't think you really do in general in any harmful way. Um, yeah. So then eighth house Venus, it kind of like spices up spices up the love life to where like um you're really looking for that soul bonding relationship, like the closest like connection possible. And then with the Mercury, in the eighth house, like I already talked about that. But like that's like a really romantic energy. It can be somewhat dramatic. It's also really good for attracting external resources and benefiting from other people's resources. Um, and yeah, very intense, like kind of intimate relationships. And I already talked about how like the relationships need like exchange of ideas. You might be the kind of partner who like talks a lot or is very communicative, very like yeah, like that in the relationship. And your ideal partner is someone who can, it's in Gemini, so it's like someone who can go to your depths, meet you there, but also who, you have that intellectual communication with, who's fun, who's able to kind of like flow through life and kind of like a way that when they're very secure, but they're not taking things too seriously at the same time. They can still see the humor and stuff. And yeah, you'll learn a lot through your relationships. Um, okay, let's see what's up with stars. I know I talked about how you have Cupido rising last time and how it's like kind of like it can give like a very flirtatious vibe to someone. Let's see. You have Urania very close to your, no, it's not Urania. It's astronomy. Is that Urania or astronomy? It's like not very close. It's kind of like, eh, wait, hold up. It's at it's like yeah, within 2.45. So it's like that one's like all about like astrology. And like stuff like that, like esoteric stuff. So it's pretty close to your rising, but you have Cupido right on the rising. So, I talked to you about that one before. Um and is that Psyche's close, which keeps one like looking young. If it's conjunct the ascendant, keeps one looking young for like they look younger than their age for a really long time. Vulcanus on your sun, and Cancer will make you way more dynamic than a typical Cancer, with the potential for eruptions. Okay. Not seeing many. Saturn, Uranus, and the Galactic Center. I wonder if that. I don't even know what that would mean. Let me see if I can find anything. Not finding anything. But I think it would indicate ways like how you can like really be in tune with like high spiritual collective kind of forces, I guess you could say. It's very hard to find information on Uranus. It's a very, very, very it's about awakenings and having plants there, even though they're outer planets is huge. Okay, let's just see what's up with the ascendant at 15 or midheaven at 27, Leo, Regulus, so Regulus and Hydra. So or Investa also, right? On your midheaven. So that's like the goddess of health and family. Um, so it's all about service. So like really, really being a service, and being someone that's looked at as being very of service. Also, you have Union. Is that Union? No. I don't even know what that fucking union means. But it's on your midheaven. It's perhaps like it's a romantic asteroid. It's perhaps like there's some level of like working together with the partner in some kind of way. But yeah, the fact that Regulus, also Hydra, that's like the literally like of the astrologer. So like you have lots of astrology points in your chart. Um, mm, 1 second. Yeah. 1 sec. I'm looking for that. So yeah, like I think Cupido in the ascendant, it just gives like it can make someone very flirty. Obviously, you're not you're married, so it's not like gonna really play out like that. Um, it can make them like attracted to people who play hard to get. Um, they can be like temptresses, but also ultimately it's like they really propel this like charmingness, this love. So it kind of like can take a lot of like that really intense scorpionic energy away and just like give tons of just like charm. Like is charm the right word? Yeah, charm. And sincerity. Let's see what else. Yeah. Yeah. Like significant charm, allure, and attractiveness. Very much great at flirting with others and seem very caring, even if they don't try to. They're usually not afraid to tell someone how they feel romantically, or they usually come, you, or they are usually the ones who ask their crush out first, even if they aren't straight up with their admiration for someone. They unconsciously do so. So yeah, playful, social, passionate individuals. Um, Very straightforward. But yeah, you don't really have that many fixed stars I'm seeing, but let's kind of go through the list. Um, let's pull up my star list. So we'll start here. So 16 and 27 Taurus. Ooh. Algol is kind of close to Jupiter, but that is an interesting one. What? So Algol is like the really, and it's not like a super close one, but still, this matters. It's like the demon star. It's a Medusa star, but Jupiter is like a very strong planet, a very like benefic planet. So what will it mean if Jupiter is there? Let's see if there's any information I can find on it. It says this is the best placement for Algol. It gives wonderful creative talents such as art, music, from which you can make a good living. So you fucking avoided the tough one. Um, so 16, 14, 25. You just missed out on around 21 sad Gemini is like where a lot of like really like 16 like 21-ish Gemini. There's like a lot of like the really like big time wealth stars. Alheka is close to Mercury. Let's see if there's anything about that. Hasty temper, selfishness, greed, disposition, dissipation, legal and business troubles, poor health, domestic troubles, and separation from wife or children, low companions, loss of wealth and poverty. Good thing this isn't a very, let's see, it's a 2447 and it's at 25. Yeah, it's barely impacting it. It would have to be within 0.15 to really feel that stuff. Um, that's why I don't like to give like so in-depth stuff. So 1651 Sun. So like I don't like to go so in depth with every fucking star. I'm just doing this for you. So nothing with the sun. Of course, midheaven. We already know all that. Just did that shit. Um. So okay. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. And I forgot to talk about yeah, just how your part of fortune is conjunct your south node. So you have lots of like good karma coming into this lifetime. Um, like of being like such a giver, and that it's time for you to reap the rewards in this lifetime. That's pretty much like the message for you. Um, and that you're really at your best when you're kind of just in a group of like-minded people building towards like a goal that's great for humanity while also going towards your higher spirituality. And one other thing, let's see, I guarantee you I can't find anything about this. Probably nothing exists about this. Let's see if I can find anything. Ooh, Psyche conjunct Pluto makes a good criminal psychologist, occultist, astrologer, musician. The house where it falls tells about the place where this person will find an outlet. It's in the first house. Damn, that's crazy. Well, interesting. Great way to end. Hope you enjoy. Look forward to getting your husband Dinesh. I always fuck that one up. His information so I can do his. And my eyes are getting all red. Hope you enjoy and talk soon. After I do his, we'll do a follow up. All right. Ciao.